So it was pretty interesting that there was an explosion that happened over there. So
Okay, this guy. You see how he does his drawings? Now there's so much poisoning today between like different people that are European, and I don't have anything against any of my pagan people that I follow. They can have whatever belief they want. It's not at all. But I really don't want them. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. What I understand about the teaching that he's going to say comes from a slightly different point of view that I have. Because I'm not going to push the Bible on anyone. But I'm going to tell you, the Bible led me on my way, on my own spiritual journey. So I still have a good use of it and understanding that's not all fucked up. And I want to share him because I absolutely believe and know that whenever they're doing like abortions, there is a spiritual component because there's entities that want you to murder that child because they get something from it. That may not be a point of view that you share. You don't have to believe that is true, but there is a very sinister element in it either way. Even if you consider that they take the aborted tissues and use them in different technologies and different stuff that they're doing. So I just want to show this to show you a little bit of where he goes.
I don't know what's going on, but a lot of action is going on. It seems like that the next step for the tribulation, or for the Antichrist, is about to kick in. Okay, let's begin. As we all know, what happened with the decision with Roe versus Wade, a lot of the people in America, they thought it was a tragic time. That was a horrible day. And they thought that it's the end of the world. So obviously we're in mourning with them. And obviously we just feel horrible what happened with Roe versus Wade. And some of you came to me for therapy sessions and said that it was just a horrible time. How could this happen to our country? No, of course I'm just being sarcastic. But anyways,
Now, hold on. Another thing too. Christians or people that come from Christianity and that are genuine realize that the message of Christ is to view others like they are also the experience of the self. If I experience my personal experience and those people around me are like extensions of myself and I'm an extension of their self, then those people can treat each other better. And it doesn't have to be that. The Christ is that part of the heart center, like your heart chakra, that becomes aware of all being one. There's a unity there. These other people, I'm only going to point them out to show that they don't have that activated yet. At the most, they have their Manipura chakra, which is the yellow one, which is your ego and your identity of self. Because if you notice how they identify the baby as either being tissue, because they're not considering it being a life form, and you know that it is, because that's what it is. It's another person being born. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this just to share it, because I was looking for this the other day and I couldn't find it. And I have dreams where sometimes the layout is like the pictures he draws.
if you look at the article from the Washington Post, how the Supreme Court ruled in the major decisions of 2022, that's the title of their article, but they give every detail of which justices approved or opposed the decisions, but most of the decisions were in favor of the conservative groups. So a lot of Christians have gotten excited about that one. One is obviously the abortion. So it went from 6 versus 3. So obviously there was more restrictions in place concerning about abortion. Some people went as so far as to say abortion is banned, but obviously that's not what it means. What it meant is that it's not as free or as forced where the women can practice the abortion. That's the idea. So some states are able to make their own decisions this time. So obviously in our state nothing changed. So nothing changed in our state, whereas other states, they immediately took action. The Second Amendment won to the favor of what the conservatives wanted. Concerning about climate change as well, it won to the favor of what the conservatives wanted. Concerning about immigration, it didn't though. Concerning about immigration, it didn't. The COVID and vaccine mandates, it won to the favor of what the conservatives wanted. Another decision is with Biden versus Missouri, and what happened over here is that it won to the favor of the liberals. Separation of church and state, it won fully toward the conservative side. School prayer won fully to the conservative side. Guantanamo Bay and state secrets, no way we're going to win on that one. The government and certainly elitists obviously want some things not to be shown. Let's see. This is pretty surprising. Death penalty and religion. Obviously, Thomas is the only one who stood his own ground, and the rest of them went no. So, or they made a decision on their part that disagreed with Thomas. Public displays of religion, wow, it was very surprising. All the conservatives and the liberal justices were in full agreement on that one. So it went toward our favor on that one. And then a lot of other major decisions. So these were all the major decisions. If you're curious, you can even look at that at the liberal news source. Washington Post explains all of that. So obviously the liberal world we're in paranoid mode, we're in angry mode, because a lot of it won to the conservatives' favor, the Christians' favor. And the Christians obviously are thinking this is a revival, and they're thinking that they can bring the kingdom on earth. Well, I have a twist at the end that might surprise you, and I'll explain that one. Now, don't get me wrong, I am happy with whatever thing that the country is leaning toward that's more Christian, that's more moral. So don't get me wrong about that. However, I'm not jumping to joy and think that I can bring the kingdom of God here on earth, that I can make a difference in this country. You got to realize the Bible prophesied the Antichrist has to come in the future. That's what the Bible prophesied, so it ain't going to change anything. You might bring a revival or some kind of awakening in the country, but guess what? It's only temporary and it's limited. Okay? You have to realize that. Let's see how the conservatives responded. So, in Twitter, it's so hilarious. Caroline Kitchener, who's one of the journalists, put in her tweet, I just spoke with Elizabeth Warren, who suggested the Biden administration establish Planned Parenthood outposts on the edges of national parks. Quote, they could put up tents, have trained personnel, and be there to help people who need it. It's time to declare a medical emergency. So they're going to put up tents. Why? To help out, to just help out the women so that they can have more.
Obviously, all of that is as it is. But you see, he gets into talking about Molech and the different entities that are recipients. Like, they used to put babies on a burning bull, like that drawing right there, the Molech. So, I mean, obviously they didn't have the technology to fully kill the baby in the womb, but they would have the baby and then put the baby on the fire, like, immediately. Can you imagine that? So there's entities that will take those lives, or it gets some sort of power from the blood of something that was alive. They did this a lot in Carthage, in Egypt. They did it on Angkor Wat, which is one of these really old, badass places. It's in Cambodia. There is a fucking bas relief stone picture on the wall of a demon doing a massage abortion, where you massage the stomach and push the baby out. And it's a fucking demon. I looked at it and I saw it and I was like, oh my God. It's hard to make it out, so I'm not going to put it on here. And plus, I don't want to share all this fucked up shit that I see. But I just want you to know that this issue plays in, because we're in a war and we're fighting against darkness and things that wants to suppress and destroy us. And I say us to all of us, because anyone that can listen and just care about someone else is really all that's required. Once you can care about someone else equal to your own self, you can come into balance. And that's what's important.